Our next story is about the power of memories and how they can shape a lifetime of work. Al Allen is an artist who has taught painting at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock for more than 20 years. Recently, he embarked on a new form of expression. He's produced a book of short stories about his childhood memories that he says just come to him as he paints. It's called Roads That Seldom Curve.
I have no problem with motivation. I am always behind in my paintings. Painting is essentially very therapeutic. A lot of people relate painting to a form of contemplation. The mind can truly function in two directions as you paint. In all honesty, this recent book that I have published, most of these stories were thought out very clearly as I painted. I would think through the story, and once in my mind I thought I had the story clearly thought out, I would get a basic composition book and sit on a couch in back of where I work on my paintings and sit there and write the story. When summer finally came and school let out, my father carried me up the river to the Boot Hill to stay a while with Uncle Will. Up there, the land was rich with bottom sand and so flat that you could see a water tower 8 miles away glittering in the evening sun, or see a thundercloud in time to reach the storm house long before the wind and rain would come. The roads all led north and south and east and west and seldom curved at all. And the dust was always ankle deep like summer snow. My uncle's farmhouse was the only one around for miles except for the Craigs, across the road and down a piece. They had a daughter named Martha Sue, who was 13.
Hey, Martha Sue! Elvis! Why, you haven't grown an inch.
It was with her that I would climb a tree until the narrow limbs gave and swayed. And then she would climb on higher still and laugh in love as I clung below. It was Martha Sue who knew the time by the shadows on the ground or by the whistle of a train that blew across the county line. Vision is the key to it all, and images are very, very important. So what I do is take journeys, and I just drive, and I go through little towns and just look. And when something strikes me as a very, very marvelous, pre-composed, even sometimes, elated visual moment, I record it. But I have had problems with just walking up someone's front yard, and I've often gone and tried to ask people if I could take photographs of their houses, and sometimes they're very nice and say, sure, but you have to give about a 2-hour explanation as to what you're doing.
For paintings, I take photographs.
This gentleman owns it here.
Yeah, but the people always get real get concerned.
And you're taking a picture of a shadow across a window, a very innocent thing, but they think 1,000 things.
Marvelous moment of light on the side of a building, which is both abstract and realistic at the same time.
I find the commonplace a very, very mysterious thing.
I've got a secret.
What? You must swear to God that you will not tell another living soul on earth what you will hear and see today.
I swear. Come on.
See this dye here on my eye? I'm gonna cast it off on someone else with secret words that I've learned. Come on. Now stand a little down the road and wait, for once I say the magic words, this crossroad is condemned. Hokum spokum rigamo-rye, man must live and man must die. Hokum spokum sty on eye, beyond the next one passes by. Hokum spokum rigamo-rye, man must live and man must die. Hokum spokum sty on eye, beyond the next one passes by.
That night, I lay listening to the night birds calling out in the darkness and wondered what held the stars up in the sky. Making ordered art gives me pleasure. The windows are the eyes of houses. They tell you an awful lot about a house. Windows lend themselves to many wonderful geometrical shapes, and most windows are rectangles or squares. And when the light patterns are going across a shade or curtains, it creates wonderful geometrical patterns. My paintings are really very carefully thought out as shape relationship compositions. And thus you can take one of these windows and turn it upside down, and hopefully it is a very pleasing group of shapes and movements and colors. Nothing has influenced my work any more than the times I spent in the Boot Hill of Missouri, essentially from the time I was 8 until I was 14. You were in space and in silence, and you would hear things differently. And there was an awful lot of aloneness, not loneliness, but aloneness. It was still dark the next morning when I slipped into my overalls and quietly crept outside and slowly ran back down the road.
When the roll is called up yonder, when the roll is called up yonder, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder.
At the Craig's house, I found Martha Sue sitting on the back porch, chopping up cabbage for kraut, with her mother churning nearby.
Hi, Alvin. How you doing, Alvin?
I saw her sparkling eyes, and both were as clear as crystal, and there was no sty. I just sat there and watched her as I ate a cabbage core. I sure did love that Martha Sue. When I end the story and put the final period for the end of the story, it's very, very similar to putting the final stroke on a painting. If you got a painting looking good upside down, it's really going to look good right side up. There's a very good feeling. That's the reason people write stories and they make music and they paint and sculpt, and is because when you get through, you do have this feeling that you have done something you should have done.